Good morning, everyone. My name is Nancy Phillips, and I am the counselor, the admissions counselor for the EMBA program. Today, we're going to discuss the University of Tampa's EMBA program. Today is May 25th, 2021. So, again, these videos will be updated as information changes. Let's get started. So again, my name is Nancy Phillips, and I am in the Office of Graduate and Continuing Studies. I'm Assistant Director as well as Admissions Counselor for the EMBA, PMBA, and MBA programs. This is my telephone number, and you can also reach me at the email address of nphillips@ut.edu. Michael Green is the coordinator of the Graduate Business Program. He is the coordinator for the Program of Operations. His phone number is listed here as well as his email address. So just a little bit about Tampa. Why choose Tampa UT? So we are right here in the hub of downtown. So we are very well established and connected into the community. A lot of businesses do recruit directly for our campus for our MBA programs. And our John Sykes College of Business is accredited through ACSB, which only 5 to 6% of schools worldwide have that accreditation. So it's accreditation for a business school, well recognized internationally as well as regionally and nationally. So the benefits of an EMBA, why choose the EMBA? Obviously, there's going to be several key reasons why one would want to consider an EMBA program. For example, skill development and being able to develop a more global perspective, become a leader and manager you want to be, as well as have increased career stability and opportunities, and expand your professional network. Now, that's definitely a big one here. Many of our students have said that it's important for them to be able to network, and they have so many resources and contacts to do that here through UT. And also, if you are currently in a career, but you may not want to leave the company necessarily, perhaps want to advance, then benefits of a EMBA as well as a graduate degree program can help to improve that job satisfaction, help you to accelerate, be promoted, and feel more confident to reach out of your current position and perhaps do more. So the demographic of our executive MBA program is a little different from, maybe our regular MBA or grad program, because the students are going to be seasoned in the experience with the average age of 42 years old, and at least 16 years of work experience. And the program does require that students have at least 7 years of leadership experience, 7 proven years of working in a professional setting over project processes or persons. So the diversity of our work experience with the MBA is that students represent a wide array of industries, including communications, consulting, energy, federal government, healthcare, higher education, legal service, manufacturing, marketing, military defense, technology, and more. The cohort program is collaborative. It's a hands-on approach. So students will start as a team. They will work through and progress through the curriculum as a team, and they will cultivate valuable business relationships along the way. So many of our students have said they continue to stay in contact with their colleagues throughout the program and even many years beyond. So it's an established relationship that you have with your colleagues as well as the professors. So it's just, deepening that relationship with networking. Now, the curriculum is fixed. There are 16 courses and there are about 48 credit hours. And an important note here is that the classes are not interchangeable with part time or full time MBA. So once you start this program, you're not, the student is not able to switch the program in hopes of being able to use their class credit for another program. The classes within the MBA are very EMBA are very specific to the curriculum for the EMBA. But one also important note is once you graduate with your degree, you still have an MBA. It's still in the classifications of an MBA. So it's um, it is, there isn't anything taken away from the fact, hey, that you still are um, in an MBA program, except it's more specialized and customized to based on experience of our students. So there's 5 semesters total, and the students start in the fall. It's a once a year program. It's a cohort, and students all finish together in the spring and May. Classes meet on every other Saturday, which is a total of 8 meetings per term. So it's very important to be available to go to those classes. I have had students that have, asked in the past if they're able to, if they travel, if they're able to remote in, or if they're able to, take classes from online. And so the structure of the way that the EMBA is set up is very in person, very hands on. So if a student thinks that they will not be able to participate in most of those 8 sessions, then the program is probably recommended to maybe try a program that's more flexible, such as the part-time MBA or just the MBA program. So the schedule is between 7 and 8 for breakfast, and 8 to 12 for class, and then 12 to 1 for lunch, and 1 to 5 for class again. So there is breakfast available. It's certainly up to the student if they want to come in at 7 a.m. Definitely up to you. And again, the breakfast and the lunch are included in the schedule, in the cost of the program, which we will discuss momentarily. Orientation. So there's orientation that happens this year. It is on August 21st. That's a Friday. And it will last Friday and Saturday. So, well, actually, that's August 20th and on the 21st. So just be prepared if you are coming in, ready for orientation. Be ready that is going to, feel and be like a full class for that week or that weekend. You're going to jump right into personal branding, which is 2 days, and then accounting, which is 1 day. Statistics is 2 days, and that happens in January. Finance, which happens in May. Economics, and personal branding. The purpose of these type of preparatory courses are designed to help speed up and provide a lot of information at one time, so that basically the student is kind of jumping into these areas full on. So be prepared for perhaps an intense weekend of study and getting all of this information, especially for non-business majors. This is an opportunity for you to really jump into some of these business topics in a very focused way. The required coursework will include online learning modules, which includes statistics, spreadsheet modeling, and probability. Now, this will be provided to you as a student once you have deposited. Deposit means that the student pays $300. That goes straight to their tuition. It's not a fee, but once they deposit, they'll have access to these online modules, which is required right away, pretty much within a day or two. So those modules are something you'll want to complete before January, but I would suggest as soon as you have access, even before classes start, that you go ahead and complete it, and take your time with it. You will need to make sure that you pass at least by the third chance. Hopefully you'll get it on the first time, but you are given 3 chances to make sure that you are successful in the completion. So this is the integrative course curriculum divided into the semesters. Actually, these are, for the semesters. So as you can see, 5 semesters total, and there are classes. The personal branding is a course that is Saturday and Sunday, and then accounting is one Saturday, and then the accounting for strategic management and dynamic leadership. Remember earlier that I told you that there are the prep courses that prepares you. The personal branding is one of them, and then you kind of jump right into the topics for the term. And the same thing with spring year 1, that you jump right into the analytics for managers with that prep course, and then your classes for that term. Okay, so one thing I wanted to point out here in year 2 is also when the international trip will take place, and it will include all of these topics. So the personal branding, which discusses cross-cultural competencies, and then the global strategic and the global strategic management 1 and 2 are covered. So let's get into the global strategic management 1 and 2, the courses, and then the international trip. So the cohort has an opportunity to actually vote and provide input on the destination. Some of our top destinations that we have had in the past have included Prague, they have included Berlin, they have included a few countries in South America and in Europe and Portugal. And even more recently, even through the pandemic, students were able to be, quite inventive, quite innovative, thinking outside of the box. Travel restrictions were very limited, so they didn't want to just give up and say, hey, we're not going to travel at all. So they decided to do a safe trip to the California wine country, in which they engage in a consulting project. So this is how our classes are, thinking outside of the box, being inventive, and reaching goals, strategizing. These are some of those skills that you pick up or even strengthen through the EMBA program. So now that travel restrictions have lifted, we definitely anticipate having more international trips, different places each time. So mandatory, the trip is 10 days in that last semester, which is that spring, so right before graduation. And it is linked to also to the personal branding too. Students do have an opportunity to select a concentration. The concentrations are listed as below: cybersecurity, entrepreneurship, finance, information systems management, international business, marketing, nonprofit management, business analytics, as well as accounting. So these are not built into the program. If a student is interested in specializing, which certainly many of our students are going on to move into specialties, they do require a couple more classes. For example, they may require 3 to 4 classes. So it is something that you will do at the end of the program. So if you are deciding, you don't have to make that choice immediately. You will actually make that choice at the end of the program, but you definitely have to do that before you graduate, because it cannot be added back in. Now, if a student does decide that they want to add these concentrations, it will extend the time. So instead of graduating in the spring, you would graduate you would complete those courses in the next semester or the semester after that. It just depends on how many classes you are taking in a semester. So it will extend your time, which certainly for many students, it's well worth it. So, admissions requirements. Hopefully, after reviewing this video and this presentation, you will have a good idea of whether this sounds like something you want to continue forward with, or speak with me about, or even perhaps just move forward in the program. Many of our students know other students in the program. They have been referred, or they just know about UT and very interested in moving forward. So you might be one of those students who are just ready to jump right into the application process. So the first thing that is required for admissions consideration is number one, complete an application, and which is found on our website, and I also will be happy to provide that for you as well. The application fee, actually that is waived, and for anyone that is interested, I can provide instructions on how to waive that fee. We will also be looking for at least a 4-year degree from a regionally accredited institution. I do understand that some students, candidates may even have master's degree, and that is fine too. But definitely what is required to start is that 4-year degree from a regionally accredited institution. We have had some students who experience this from, or their language or school is from out of the country, and that's fine too. This program, although it's not open to international students, if you are currently a citizen or permanent resident or not of the F1 visa status to study as a student here, then you still can qualify for this program as well. You just want to make sure that you're able to get your official transcripts from your school of bachelor equivalent. So that's very important. I know I've had some students who have expressed in the past that sometimes transcripts were difficult, and especially during the pandemic, students weren't able to get those schools were closed. So hopefully this year will bring about an easier process for students who need to get those transcripts from abroad to be able to do that. So fingers crossed on that. We definitely need to see the resume so that we can be able to look more into that leadership work experience, because that is a part of the program's requirement. And also 2 professional reference forms. This would be something you want to gather from supervisors, superiors, someone who can attest to your skills as being excellent. You want excellent references for your recommenders. And also, again, we already mentioned resume, but personal statement and interview. One quick note about the reference forms, real quick. Most people know this, but just want to reiterate that you want to get references from that are professional, as opposed to getting references from your peer or someone you supervise, or from a family member or friend. So just be really careful on that. If you have a friend that is in the EMBA program already, that might be okay, but you want to just, again, attest to this is a professional reference form that we're looking for. There is an interview that will be conducted. That's at the end. The interview, once the student has completed their application, they have turned in every single document, then we'll schedule an interview with the College of Business. That is, the last aspect of this application process. And once that interview is complete, usually lasts an hour. And because of this situation last year, we have been conducting those interviews on the phone. If you want to do Zoom is available too, but they've just been regular, telephone calls where, the College of Business, our program coordinator, coordinating professor will speak to the student more in detail. It's usually a panel. Sometimes, sometimes it has been up to three different professors in that EMBA program that teach in the EMBA program that have interviewed with the student. Sometimes it could be one, but usually it's two. So nothing scary. They are doing this in order to be able to, talk to every single student one by one, or every single candidate one by one, and then they will provide the admissions decision, which in turn they will reach out to me and let me know what the admissions decision is. Which after that, I will contact the student and advise them, of the decision from the College of Business and formalize the admissions process from there. Now, a lot of students and prospects and candidates want to know about a GMAT. Do I have to take a GMAT? So I would say the quick answer to that is no. On the initial application process to the program, I would say don't go ahead and make or schedule or have any plans to take a GMAT. Just go ahead and apply. Let us look at your transcripts, which is probably one of the first things I would say to send over. Even if it's an unofficial, we'll take those temporarily, because we want to calculate your academic background from the transcripts, the GPA. Those are the sort of things that we're looking for. Is there a math background? Is there a strong math background? Those are the things that we're looking for. If you are one of those people that coincidentally ended up taking a GMAT or a GRE anyway, before you knew you had this requirement or not, if you have the GMAT scores, that can only help. So definitely submit that along with your application, even though it's not a requirement. And I said before, at this time, this program is not open to students under the F1 visa to study as international students here. However, if you're not under that status and can be considered as, a domestic student, and you have perhaps your, transcripts are from a school out of the country in a different language, you may have a TOEFL or an IELTS. And then we also accept Duolingo as well. So if any of those sounds like you, then definitely talk with me about it, and I'll tell you what the next steps are from there. Now, the total cost for the Executive MBA is for the class of entering 2021 for August is $52,215 for the total 5-semester program. We fortunately, and not all schools have this, we fortunately have the ability for the students to make those payments over 5 equal installments. So there can be installment payments, and also a couple of options, especially for our veterans. If you are able to use veteran benefits, you can use it for this program. You'll just want to make sure to let us know up front, hey, I'm a veteran, I want to use my post 911, my Montgomery GI Bill, my VOC rehab, whatever, opportunities there are for financial assistance, definitely use it. You can use it for this program. Tuition assistance and through companies, tuition assistance and tuition reimbursement can be available depending on where you work. You always want to ask. Don't assume that, hey, I don't think this job has it. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, but it doesn't hurt to ask. That way you can find out for sure, because maybe they, can come up with a professional development plan for you based on your individual status there. And it's always up to you to use your discretion. Obviously, if you don't plan maybe on staying with that company, you don't feel comfortable, that it's totally up to you, your discretion. But it's definitely worth finding out if you're not sure. You also want to ask your company, is there a distinction between MBA and MBA and the EMBA? Because sometimes companies will only cover the MBA only because the EMBA does have a slightly higher price tag. So check with your company first, and if that is something they can do, no matter how small the amount is, definitely do it. And then there's also financial aid available for those who apply and qualify. This all-inclusive program does include the following: Does include your tuition and university fees, will include your iPad, textbook, and supplies. Another area that will be included, which students are often surprised to hear, and not all schools offer this as well, but in that price tag will include the international trip, which is the airfare and accommodations, and some of the incidentals as well. Of course, adult beverages at night is probably not going to be included in that price tag. Use that. It's up to you how you do that. But another question too, real quick, that I like to add here is that this trip is really about consulting about work. It's not a vacation, so if you are planning on inviting your family members, really just be careful to know that you're not going to have a lot of time to spend. There might be some time outside of classes, but it's going to be very intense during the day. So you're going to be expected to, be working and doing things mostly with your class. So, where I've heard students in the past say what they do is, they'll invite, their family members after the trip or maybe before, maybe extend it so they can have a little bit more time to spend with them in those circumstances. So back to what this program includes. It will include the meal and coffee breaks during the class days, as I discussed with you before, access to the university campus resources and event, and student services and support. So just to summarize the funding and financial aid, because we had mentioned this earlier, there's a couple different things here listed, especially want to bring attention to our veteran benefits there. We are a Yellow Ribbon School as well. So please reach out to our VCO at ut.edu. And if you're applying, copy me in on the email so that I know that you're getting in contact with the Veterans Educational Benefits Office. And we've already discussed the employment reimbursement. And usually, perhaps, for some people, if you are interested, there are employment options through our career services through Handshake. If you are wanting to check out, maybe additional work opportunities or what have you. With financial aid, most of the financial aid is going to be through the unsubsidized direct loan. Eligibility must be able to attend at least part-time, which here is 4 credit hours and more. Anything below 4 credit hours is below the part-time, which does not qualify for financial aid. The interest accrues on the loan while enrolled, and there's no payments that are required until graduation. I know through the pandemic, as far as interest, check with your provider, your servicer, to see if that is still the case. Find out a little bit more about that. The school code, federal school code, if you are applying, you're going to go through the FAFSA.gov, and the school code is 001538. The financial aid counselors, it's divided by the last name, A through K. Her name is Tracy Wiles. She's Associate Director of Financial Aid. And then David Ramnari, he is the Associate Director of Financial Aid, and he would be the counselor for students whose last name ends in L through Z. So again, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you for attending this presentation. Thank you for learning more about UT's EMBA program. I would definitely suggest to apply today. If you are moving forward and you apply, then I will be contacting you as soon as you apply. I will help you with the admissions process, getting everything together, meeting those important benchmarks. Even though we don't have specific deadlines, we are rolling admissions. Of course, I'm going to work with you on your individual time frames to make sure you're in class and you have all the materials that you need to start on time. You definitely don't want to be enrolling on the last day before classes. It's very stressful. So I'm here to make sure that process runs smoothly for you. For the application is available at the www.ut.edu/apply, but make sure that you click on graduate and you look for the EMBA program as for your options to enroll. Now, the application fee is waived. If you want to just take notes from this screen, all you have to do is enter an info session using the steps below. You will go into the supplemental information tab, and then you will scroll to the last question, or second to the last question from the bottom. It will ask, do you have an application fee waiver? And so you'll click yes, and then you'll enter the info session in the text box. If you have any further questions there, you have my contact information. Please schedule a phone call. We can also do campus visits as well as Zoom. There's different ways in which we can have a further discussion. Thank you again for attending this presentation. You can follow us through LinkedIn, our Facebook page, our Twitter, and that's it.